each and every one of you.
Thank you very much, Win. Well, we are about to get a look today at the Ford government's plans for the coming months as they deliver the fall economic statement. But you can bet all the focus today won't be on the economy, but that rather explosive book about to drop from former PC leader Patrick Brown. In it, the now mayor-elect in Brampton has some explosive claims against former colleagues. To help us break this all down, let's chat with our political specialist, Jim Warren. Jim, thank you very much for coming in this morning.
Good morning, Roger.
Interesting day, shall we say?
Patrick Brown did not use any emojis. He used all his words possible.
Yeah, he didn't hold back,
and did not hold back. So it's interesting. It's I think at the end of the day, though, it's a lot of inside baseball, a lot of navel-gazing by the PC party. What's remarkable when you step back and you look is this is a government that just had this huge majority 4 months ago, and I've never seen a political party that fights within itself so publicly, so often as the Ontario PC party. There's still this internal feud going on, and Patrick Brown has added some fuel to the fire.
What does it mean with the book today? The allegations about Vic Fideli, that he had a sexual harassment allegation against him. Is any of this going to stick?
It's not going to stick. And so none of this is going to hurt Doug Ford. None of these allegations is going to cause him to lose the next election. What it does do in terms of damaging him is he's going to be sticking and talking about this today instead of the proactive things he needs to talk about and the things he needs to communicate in order to get elected in the next election. So this really sort of causes some short-term pain and causes him to step back on his heels a bit. But at the end of the day, there's no knockout blow here to Doug Ford or anyone that's in his cabinet.
And an interesting thing we were talking about off air is some insiders, were calling and saying, am I in the book? Because you had a chance to look at the book.
And that's what's interesting, again, about Ford and Brown in this feud is that so many of these PC members are so caught up in this feud, they don't want to be seen as being former loyalists. So sometimes you're worried as something said bad about you in a book. I actually had PC insiders that were worried maybe something's good said about me because then Doug Ford will read the book and say, oh, this guy Bob or Joe or Frank is a bad guy because he supported Brown so much. So this is what happens with these types of books and these scandalous things is it gets people, they don't keep their eye on the ball. They end up sort of internal baseball. They're always looking and worried about what's going to happen to them instead of doing their job. And so that's really the next 2 days at Queen's Park. There's going to be a fall economic statement, but a lot of people are going to be hurriedly skipping through the pages of this book.
And scanning, looking for their name. What does the opposition do with this?
So the NDP was quick to pounce on it. They're trying to make hay and go after Vic Fideli. That's would sort of be the biggest prize to put on your wall is to go after the finance minister. I don't think there's going to be a lot of traction here, to be honest, because, let's face it, Patrick Brown here is trying to sort of throw somebody over the bus. His motivations are very clear, that he's awfully upset that he was sort of thrown off the cliff so quickly and so unceremoniously, and that he thinks at the end of the day he could be premier. He's also emboldened, thinks he can say anything because he got re-elected. He got elected as mayor of Brampton, a city he doesn't even live in. And so I think he thinks he can do anything. So the opposition, I think, would be better off to focus on the sort of more policy-focused issues, because I don't think the public's going to care a lot about the politics of the book.
This is going to disappear. What about with the Liberals and Ford announcing that they're going to try and raise the number of seats required to be an official party?
Well, we've seen the Liberals come up in the polls recently, and I think a lot of people were probably upset about Kathleen Wynne rather than some of the things that the Liberals were doing. And so I think Ford really, though he is a political neophyte, this is his first time as an MPP and a first time as premier, he is not a rookie when it comes to politics. And so he sees the opportunity here to sort of step on the snake's neck and really break it. And so this is a big blow to the Liberals. I think there was a lot of people in the Liberal Party that thought they would get this official party status, that Ford might enjoy having a three-way split of the Liberals and the NDP fighting each other. And I think Doug Ford's looked in the rearview mirror of his political experience and sees moving forward, he's got to keep the Liberals down if he wants to win that next election.
And will that work? Do you think this?
I think what's interesting is there could be some more sympathy. Again, the Ford is smart in the short term, but not always in the long term. And I actually think this could create some long-term sympathy for the Liberals, because they'll say they were held to disadvantage. Of course, Dalton McGuinty begrudgingly lowered that official party status to let the NDP have their status when they were down to 8 seats. So it's interesting. At the end of the day, though, Ford's going to say, I'm just putting it back to where it was historically. We have more MPPs. Now I'm going to make you reach a higher threshold.
All right, Jim.
Thank you.
And we're 6 months into this term.
Hold your breath to keep going.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Let's head upstairs now to Mel. Mel.